हेलो। हेलो।
हेलो हेलो।
એ બધું ફરી ચાલુ કરી દે, પહેલેથી બધું બોલ.
હા.
નીરવભાઈ પહેલેથી ફરી ચાલુ.
ઓકે ઓકે. Good evening. By profession, I am a company secretary and I am a co-associate with CA Nitin Pathak since long. Our main domain practice in GST and income tax. Today's session on Section 43B of Income Tax Act for MSME payment and amendment and its implication. We have also organized to get the different type of program every week on Zoom. dnmpathak.blogspot.in. You can visit and see the details of our forthcoming program and you can choose to join us. Our past PPT and YouTube presentation also available on blog. Or you can send us the query, poser, or any question regarding the upcoming program or past program related through email nitinampathak@gmail.com. Before starting today's session, uh, before we need to understand what is section 43B and amendment and its implication. Uh, Government is nowadays proactive. Government wants to support every enterprise, including MSME. 43BH section. Government announce and they support the MSME enterprise by security of their payment. Now in timely receiving the payment from business enterprise. Government if nowadays the business enter every business entity have an issue how to deal with who is registered and who is the MSME enterprise. First of all, so we need to understand okay, who are fall under the MSME, who need to register, and what is the category of the MSME enterprise, micro, small, and medium, and number of okay, whatever. How to define okay, they are under fall under the micro, small, or medium enterprise. What is the date of payment? What is the date of invoice? What is the acceptance of the day? We will discuss one by one. Okay, let's start. Before starting the today's session, brief, I would like to share our forthcoming program detail. Our next program on 27th January, uh, IMP 100 Judgment of the GST Series Sequel 1 by CA Nitin Pathak, and our second seminar on 3rd February 2024 for second series of GST latest judgment. In today's session, what we deliberate here, who is the MSME, date of payment to the MSME, date of acceptance, date of dim acceptance of the delivery, disallowance of the expenses, interest provision on their added to income or net profit, interest on payment will not be available, and penal interest provision are there. In short, in budget 2023, government amended section 43B. Before amendment, section 43B says that if you making the payment of some expenses on paid basis of last financial year or before filing ITR return, it will be allowable expenditure in your return in as a revenue or capital expenditure. in your financial statement. Now, government added one category or one type of expenses, that is payment to the MSME. MSME, who is MSME? MSME is the enterprise need to register under the MSME. Section 43B, MSME payment and amendment in its implication qua introduction of the new clause H 43BH with will be applicable from 1st April 2024. We will they also discuss. Okay. First, Section 43B, following are the allowable deduction as of now under the 43B. That is any tax, duty, statutory dues like GST, custom duty, or any other taxes, interest paid on taxes, EPF, Employee Provident Fund, gratuity, bonus, commission payable to employee, interest on borrowing, financial corporation, leave encashment provide, and now one more added is MSME payment. As of now, what happen? Okay, if you accrue these all are expenses on 31st March and payment after before after end of financial year and before filing return, they are allowable under section 43B. Now they are amended this section by introduction of the new section 43BH. 43BH, any sum payable by assessee to micro or small enterprise and medium enterprise act. Upon through examination of language used the 43BH, it is evidence amended provision will be exclusively applied to micro and small enterprise. Medium enterprise are explicitly excluded from the scope of this provision. What is the medium? Who is the medium enterprise? We will discuss later on. This interpretation is crucial in understanding the targeted applicability of the focus is specifically on requirement of micro and small businesses, those categorized as medium enterprise. Okay. Under MSME Act, section as per section 7, classification of the micro, small and medium enterprises. As per section 7 MSME Act, the central government classified any class or class of enterprise, whether they are proprietorship, HUF, AOP, cooperative society, partnership firm, company, private limited, public limited, or undertaking, by whatever name call, into into a micro small enterprise. They are included. Section 7 of MSME is itself classified enterprise engage in the manufacturing of goods pertaining to the industry specified in first schedule, and also enterprise engage in the rendering of the service and may be classified micro, medium, or small enterprise on the basis of investment in equipment. In short, MSME include the supply of good or delivery of the good, also include the rendering of the service, not only providing of the goods or delivery of the goods not included MSME, but include rendering of the service. Means goods and services both are registered or both are included under the MSME. MSME classified category micro, small, and medium enterprise and qua turnover. What is the limit of investment in machinery or equipment, and what is the turnover limit for classifying the enterprise into micro, small, and medium enterprise? We will discuss. Here is the chart. See, manufacturing enterprise and enterprise rendering of the service. So who is the covered under micro? category of the MSME. Those enterprise investment in machinery and equipment up to 1 crore and annual turnover up to 5 crore, they are fall under the micro category, micro size enterprise. And those enterprise investment, plant and machinery more than 1 crore and up to the 10 crore, and annual turnover more than 5 crore and up to the 50 crore, they are fall under the small size enterprise. Now, if enterprise investment in plant and machinery is up to 1 crore and annual turnover is the suppose say 6 crore, then they are under the small category, small size enterprise. They cover it in the small size enterprise because any one of the limit crosses the enterprise machine investment or turnover, they change or also get converted into next category or before category. Medium size enterprise investment in plant and machinery. Investment in plant and machinery. Yes. Machinery equipment more than 10 crore and up to the 50 crore, and annual turnover more than 50 crore or up to the 250 crore are fall under the medium size enterprise. Medium size enterprise are not getting the benefit of the MSME because the category they are fall under the medium size or as per the notification is classified under the 43B, exclusively excluded medium size enterprise from the getting benefit of the receiving payment in specified time limit. It is clarified by the explanation 1 of the 7(1) of the MSME Act that calculating investment in plant and machinery, cost of pollution control, research and development industry. एक मिनट हाँ ओके. Development, industry safety devices, and such other item may be specified by the notified means circular or notification shall be excluded. Means ke micro or small enterprise, if investment is more than specified limit, here mention is or crosses the this limit after last financial year, they converted into medium enterprise. If turnover is more than 50 crore and investment in plant and machinery more than 10 crore, they are fall under the medium size enterprise and they need to not getting the benefit of the MSME. Extract of the relevant provision of the MSME Act 2006. Presentation, date of acceptance, date of dim acceptance, and 43B for making or what is the date of acceptance? Day of actually delivery of the goods or rendering of the service, or where any objection is made in writing by the buyer within the 15 days from the date of delivery of the goods or services or day on which such objection is date of acceptance within the 15 days time, it will be considered as the dim acceptance, the day of dim acceptance. Dim acceptance means where no objection is made in writing regarding acceptance of the goods or services within 15 days of the day of the goods. Appointed day. Appointed day means the day of following except we, we need we need to lock the day on which we are enterprise. So we need to we need to Mhm. Okay. Section 15 of MSME Act for specifying the time limit for making payment to MSME. Now, whether the agreement regarding the terms of payment between the buyer and supplier exists in writing. If yes, then whether the due date payment is mentioned in agreement or in invoice. If yes, then on or before agreed date of payment or 45 days from the date of acceptance, whichever is earlier, supplier needs to be payment to the buyer. If if the if the due date is not mentioned in the we have discussed earlier, and if there is no agreement between the buyer and supplier, then 15 days from the date of acceptance or dim acceptance of the delivery of the goods or render. Now we go into limited. Purchase is the good, say 15 lakh from Y Limited. Y Limited is a small enterprise as per the section 2 of MSME Act. Okay. Section 15 of the MSME allowable purchase. X limit second means first is clear. X Private Limited makes the payment within the limit of the MSME Act we mentioned earlier, that is 15 days from or agreed period, more like a maximum 45 days. Then their purchase are allowable purchase, and their expenditure of the purchase are allowable expenditure in their same financial year. Second, X Limited makes the payment after time allowed but within the previous year. Means suppose the good of 15 lakh from Y Limited on 1st January 2024 and makes the payment after the period mentioning in the or agreed the period as per invoice or as per MSME Act time limit, but before the end of the purchase, then it is the allowable expenditure in same financial year, only need to making the payment of interest between the difference period of the expiry of the period as per the MSME Act and the date of payment as per interest rate and what how to calculate the interest rate. Okay, next financial year MSME Act, but before the due date of ITR. And 24 to the specifying limit by the MSME Act, not allowable, and it will be added to the their income, also added as a directly added to the net profit and that is 24 25th. In short, if buyer needs to payment within the time limit specified by the MSME Act, if agreed, then make payment as per agreement. If not agreement is there or not executed, then maximum limit is 15 days and maximum time limit for making payment is 45 days. If buyer making payment after specified limit or after 45 days, then it will be not be allowable expenditure to the supplier in same financial year or allowable by allowable and need to pay interest for difference period from the date of expiry of this agreement or date of the day between these two period need to pay interest. Second example, XYZ Private Limited, like for services, with services enterprise, XYZ Limited service of the taking the service of the Y, Mr. Y. As per agreement, the fees were to be paid after completion of the audit within the 15 days. X Private Limited makes the provision on 31st March 24 for suppose 1 lakh and 50,000. Audit gets completed by the 31st August and payment is made within the 15 days from the 31st August 24. Then allowable as per the section 43B, allowable expenditure on professional service, and it will be also available on the same financial year, because the we need to understand acceptance of the services, acceptance of service or completion of the service on which date, 31st August 24. The agreement specified 20 in nutshell, if agreement specified 20 days, then makes payment to the date of within the 20 days. If agreement specified 60 days, then the maximum time limit is 45 days, then the 45 days need to payment in 45 days. If no agreement is there, then 15 days from the date of invoice. In our case, XYZ Limited Private Limited gets the audit from the Y Limited, and they're making the provision of the say 1,50,000 on 31st March audit on 31st August 24, and payment made within the 15 days from the completion of the audit. So, expenditure because is covered under the within the time limit. Whole thing about the micro make Okay, friends. Here is a system error. Now it will be okay. It is okay. Uh, let us take one by one example of the making payment to the MSME. Okay. First of all, say our invoice date of the purchase is 12th July 23. And if agreement is there, if mention the due date of payment in invoice, that is 26th August 2023, and say amount of expense say 12 lakh, and paid the same against the bill of purchase on 31st March 24, then allowable year is 23-24. Means if the payment is make the payment in within the time limit as per agreement or before the end of the financial year, then same is allowable in same financial year, and there is the no disallowance of the expenditure. Mention the due date in the invoice. In invoice means 15 days from the date of, and the payment date is 31st March, then same is allowable in same financial year 23-24. There is no disallowance. Third example, suppose that the date of invoice is the 12th July and agreement date is the 26th August, but payment is done on 10th April 2024. एक minute. Date choose here. Okay. Okay. Invoice date is the 12th July and agree as per agreement within the 15 days making the payment, and the date of w- payment actually made on 10th April means end of the financial year, then allowable expenditure in 24-25 and disallowance of the expense for the 23-24. Fourth example, if say invoice date is the 12th July and there is no agreement is between the buyer and supplier, then agreement date would be 27th July and making the payment after end of the financial year, that is it's okay, 10th April, then same is the allowable in 24-25, and this allowance of the expenses same in the 23-24. Say invoice date is the 12th July and agreement as per agreement due date of the making payment is 26th August, but buyer making payment in tranches say 4 lakh paid on 31st October and 8 lakh on 15 April 2024. Then 4 lakh is allowable for financial year 23-24 and 8 lakh is the allowable expenditure in 24-25, and the 8 lakh would be disallowed expenditure for financial year 23-24, and it is included in the income of the buyer, include in the net profit and paying the tax, and next year reclaim the expenditure of 8 lakh. Now, next one. Suppose the invoice date is the 4th March and agreement as per agreement 18th April is the payment date and payment is made on 20th April. then also this expenditure covered under next financial year, that is 24-25, and this allowance for the 23-24. If invoice date is the 31st March, 1st March, and payment is made 15 April, then it's also same year is allowable, and there is no agreement, then the due date is the 16th allowable expenditure in same financial year, and there is no disallowance. If invoice date is the 31st March and there is no agreement, then due date is the 16th April, and the payment is made on 15 April, then it's allowable in same financial year, there is no disallowance. If invoice date is 31st March and there is no agreement and payment is made after 15 days as per the MSME Act, means that is 20th April, then it will be considered in next year. It will be allowable in next year. For this year 23-24, disallowance for expenditure. In short, we need to remember one thing, three things. Okay, if the date of invoice, from the date of invoice, if agreement is there, then as per agreement, making the payment within the within the payment as per the agreement. If there is no agreement, then 15 days from the invoice date. And if there is a no agreement between the buyer and supplier, then maximum threshold limit for the making payment is 45 days. After 45 days making the payment to the supplier, then it will be disallowable from the that financial year, and it will be allowable in the next financial year. And also the disallowance expenditure also included in your income directly to the net profit of the under the head of PGBP head. Example, how disallowance of expenses added to your income on net profit. Net profit for the financial year, for the assessment year 24-25, financial year 23-24, say 5 lakhs. An amount we need to analyze the how to treat disallowance of the purchase, and how to we give effect while making the while calculating the tax. Amount of outstanding towards creditor of MSME due 15 lakh, out of which 5 lakhs was paid on or before 31st March, and 7 lakh paid before filing of return, and balance for 3 lakh was outstanding at the date of filing of income. There is the case, in this case, company's net profit would be say 5 lakh. Company have a outstanding creditor of rupees 15 lakh in three parts. First, out of 5 lakhs was paid, fully paid on or before 31st March, and 7 lakh paid before the filing the return, and 3 lakh paid, balance 3 lakh paid after date of filing of return. Due to outstanding payable to MSME exceeding the said amount is subject to being added back to net profit, and adjustment is to disallowance of under section 43B, resulting in as per the new section, introduction of the new section 43BH. Here is the calculation. Say 5 lakhs, add the amount payable, means due more than 45 days, say 10 lakh, means included 7 lakh, which is payment made before due date of filing return, but end of the financial year or end of the 45 days, and 3 lakh, which is paid after the due date of the filing return. Both are included or both are added to the income of the enterprise, and calculate the tax as per the tax rate. Here amount payable to MSME creditor, which is outstanding more than 45 days as on 31st March, and same is paid before the furnishing of return, say 7 lakhs, and is allowable under section 43BH, and also 3 lakhs payment made after the date of or the due date of the filing the return is not allowable expenditure on accrual basis, is only on payment basis. Now, recommendation regarding classification of MSME. What are the recommendation and how to deal with the MSME enterprise? So every company or every enterprise dealing with the MSME enterprise need to obtain an annual declaration confirmation their classification as MSME means the dealing with the MSME enterprise from their purchasing in identifying the enterprise status. What is the status of under MSME means small, micro or medium. If they claim status as register, also obtain the copy of registration and category as the micro, small or medium may be established. Distinct list of the creditor categorized as MSME. From the beginning of the fiscal year, the entire acquiring certificate or declaration from the creditor confirming their status under MSME. Also, some of the enterprise or recommendation is uh, while taking the bill from the buyer from the supplier, also ask them to mention the MSME registration category in their invoice, so no need to take confirmation or declaration from the MSME enterprise. Sure, in short, dealing with the MSME enterprise, we need to take care of we need to take declaration from the annual declaration from the MSME enterprise, whether it is registered under MSME or not. And if registered, then what category? What is the status of enterprise? This is micro, small, or medium. Understand further about 43BH. Enterprise need to pay to micro and small enterprise supply within 15 days or maximum 45 days. If payment is not made within the above time limit, the amount will be taxable income, which was earlier we will discussed. In case there is no written agreement, payment shall be made within the 15 days from as per the MSME Act. If there is a written agreement, payment shall be made as per the time limit mentioned in the agreement, but threshold limit or the maximum limit is 45 days. Not if expenses include purchase as well as the rendering of the service. In short, time limit for making payment to MSME. First of all, we need to remember that uh, this limit is applicable to only micro and small enterprise, not medium enterprise. What is the medium enterprise? We already discussed earlier. So it is not applicable to medium enterprise and enterprise for this limit time limit for making payment. But they are also covered under MSME and their payment also secure under MSME. Okay. Whether interest expense will be allowable under section 37. Under section 16, this interest expense is nature of penal interest. So interest expense incurred delayed in payment to MSME is not allowable. 37 of Income Tax Act. In case any objection was raised in writing within 15 days, the date of delivery of the goods or rendering of the service by buyer regarding acceptance of the goods or services, then the date of acceptance shall be the date on which such removed by the supplier. Here, there is the interest provision. If supplier making payment, buyer making payment to supplier beyond the time limit specified by the MSME Act, then they need to pay interest, compounding interest of difference period, the date of delivery of the goods or rendering of the service, and the actual date of payment. Between the period, interest need to be paid by the buyer to supplier, and it is not allowable expenditure under section 37 of the Income Tax Act. Let us example of this interest. A has sold the goods to B on 1st July. A is the micro enterprise. A is registered under the MSME, and A category is the micro enterprise. B has made the payment on 1st February 24. B has made payment to A before 31st March, but after 45 days, as per the MSME Act. According to the Income Tax Act 1961, we will allow the payment in previous year 23-24, but B has to payment of compound interest at monthly rest to the A at three times the bank rate notification, even as per the rate notification, even if not demanded by the A, calculated from the due date till date of payment. Further interest expense is disallowable while compounding the interest under the head of PGBP. Now, this example shows that if A sold the goods to B and B is the MSME enterprise and he is the register under it is the register under micro enterprise category, and B has to make the payment in the time limit. If the payment beyond the time limit as specified by the MSME, they need to pay interest. If interest is paid is the three times as per the notification by the RBI, and this interest expense is not allowable expenditure under the interest under the Income Tax Act or under the head of PGBP. Means I think we need to means A is the I think debited the expenses in their books, but I think while calculating the income from PGBP, they need to carve out the interest expenditure from their PNL and add it to the income and calculating the tax and paid the tax. In short, now I cover it all in one by one. 43B section, as of now, what will be happen? 43B section says that if any expenditure accrued on or before 31st March and paid on or before due date of filing of return, they are allowable expenditure in that year, that is 20, say 23-24, on payment basis under section 43B. Now, the government added a new category by introduction of the 43BH for MSME payment and its security or timely payment. They said that if buyer purchases good from supplier, buyer need to pay within 15 days. The time of the date of delivery or acceptance or the date of dim acceptance, both in both case, supply of the goods or rendering of the service. Beyond the beyond the time limit specified under the MSME, they need to pay interest and also disallowance of the expenditure for that year, and it will be allowable in next financial year. Also, that expenditure also included in their income directly to the net profit and need to pay tax on that. Means government says that ease of in the connection with the ease of doing business, government giving the two security to every enterprise who are small and medium enterprise, small and micro enterprise, their security of their payment and timely payment. So government wants simplified the cycle of the goods, sale of good, making payment, and whole cycle is goes on. So this section is very crucial to understand, but only remember one thing: there is the limit for making payment, and there is the some allowance or the disallowance of the expenditure disallowance of the expenditure if not making the payment in time, if also added to your income and need to pay tax, and rest is all are here example. You need to download this PPT from our blog also. And if any question or query or any poser are welcome through email cnithinempathak@gmail.com, and our forthcoming program on GST on 27th January. So please keep tuned. Thank you. Thanks for listening.